Hi, I don't intend to get too political with my posts here, but sometimes it can't be helped because science fiction every now and then oversteps into that territory. And for instance, in my book Fantasy Crow 3, I have a story called Sins of the King. And I'll put a link down below to the table of contents for that book and my other two in the Fantasy Crow trilogy. And by the way, this is Keith Croes. Good morning. And it kind of started with the idea that Ted Cruz or someone like him won the election, and the United States proceeded to adopt a very Bible-oriented form of government, and the street names were after famous evangelists in our history. Rex Humbard and Pat Robertson, of course, is the evangelist who actually started the Christian Coalition way back when. Joel Osteen, Earl Roberts, and I think Jimmy Swaggart is in there somewhere. Even though he was disgraced, I think maybe he came back. I don't know. Let's assume that he came back. But the theme of the story is that sins had to be committed, and in a society where sins become laws, or let's put it this way, sins are breaking the law. Everything that a Christian religion or a Judeo-Christian religion believes is a sin is translated immediately to law in the public domain and in the United States of America. So it became obvious at some point that people were needed who were allowed to sin, because some sin is necessary. And to do that, you had to become licensed. And so the protagonist of the story is a gentleman who went through whatever certification is required to become what they call an imp. And imp is short for impunity. These people could act with impunity. You had to register with the Department of Impunity prior to the sin. But these folks, once they became licensed imps, in fact, they could schedule their own sins and have sex with another imp without risk of committing adultery, and consequently suffering the judicial consequences of adultery. So anyway, that's the territory, that's the theme. The book, the story is called Sins of the King, and kind of overlaps with what we're seeing here, and especially a little paragraph I found in the Republican platform for 2016, which reads, I'll actually display it somewhere in this video. We support the public display of the Ten Commandments as a reflection of our history and our country's Judeo-Christian heritage, and further affirm the rights of religious students to engage in voluntary prayer at public school events and to have equal access to school facilities. So get ready for prayer back in school. Voluntary, but it'll probably be voluntary on the part of very, very many people, teachers, who wouldn't want to be seen as committing a sin, especially if sins become laws. And again, I'm Keith Croes. Thanks for joining me, and stay tuned. I'll be back.